MeMaw's Kitchen. I'm fixing to show you guys how to make a seafood patty that it's my own recipe that I make with salmon and shrimp. And when I can get crab meat, I put crab meat in it too, but it's winter time, it's hard to get good crab meat. You need some potatoes. So peel your potatoes. Well, basically all my recipes is my recipes. I take maybe something that somebody does and you make it your own. And I feel like that's what anybody needs to do whenever they're cooking something, you know, because what I like, you may not like. Some seasonings I like, you may not like to put in yours. You have to tweak it until you get it like you want it. So this is something that I just started just throwing together. My mama used to tell me to make my concoction, and that's what I do. I make a concoction, anything I cook. Okay, I'm finished peeling my potatoes, and the reason why I go with potatoes, this is my base. This is going to be what I'm going to cook, and I'm going to mash up. I'm going to put my pink salmon. I'm going to put cooked shrimp that I've already cooked. These shrimp, you can't cook them for longer than, I'm going to say, after your pot is good and hot, let it cook for at least 5 minutes. You don't cook shrimp very long or you're going to have rubber. You're going to use green onions, a large, I always use sweet onion. You can get Valdea, that's fine. If you can't, just any sweet onion. Bell pepper, you can use green bell pepper, red bell pepper, whatever color you want. I'm going to put a little bit of jalapeno in mine. I'm going to put some garlic. Right, I have an elephant garlic, so I'm going to chop that up. Then you put your salt, your pepper, your cayenne, your garlic powder, and your onion powder. And then you're going to put 3 or 4 eggs. This is a large batch, and the eggs is to make everything stick together and not come apart when you fry it in the pan. I choose to cook salmon in a can because, first of all, economically, it's a whole lot cheaper. This is what my mama always used, salmon in a can. I mean, she didn't go buy fresh salmon whenever she made any kind of salmon patties. You can afford fresh salmon, it'd be awesome. Because I have made it with fresh salmon, and it is good. It's really good. You know, anything fresh is always better than canned. But this is good. This is really good. Okay, I'm finished chopping my potatoes. Put them in a bowl. Bring them over here to your stove with some water in a pot. And I usually just put enough water just to cover my potatoes. And you want to salty this water. And the number of potatoes you use is going to be on however many you think. If you want to make some extras, these patties freeze so well. All you have to do is put them out on a sheet, freeze them, stick them in a freezer bag, and you can just pop them out whenever you're hungry for them and just fry them up. Now you have to wait for your potatoes to come fork tender. When you stick a fork in it, it becomes fork tender. Kind of like when you make mashed potatoes. You're going to want to start cutting, dicing your onions up. I dice mine. You can cut it however you want to cut it. But to caramelize it, I like to dice it. Onions are chopped, diced. Put it in a bowl. My bell pepper. Dice it. Dice them all up and okay. Put it in the bowl. Put a garlic. You can have either the smaller leaf garlics or I just chose this
that's giant.
elephant garlic, I believe. And
I didn't even know they got that big.
it doesn't take me long to get what I want out of it, so I'm just going to use this.
That's just one full piece of garlic.
Yep. I know this looks like a giant amount of garlic, but I love garlic in my food. You don't want to put this much in yours, then don't.
But it doesn't really overwhelm the taste because I eat it all the time.
Yeah. You put it in a bowl. Now, I'm going to put a little bit of jalapeno. You can put jalapeno, you can put habanero, you can put basically what you want in it. But jalapeno isn't quite as hot, and it's just going to give it a little kick. And I put the seeds and all. I'm trying to teach you guys how to cook. I know there's not any hooping and hollering. This is me, and this is how I come across to teach somebody how to do something. I don't want the attention to be on me, I want it to be on the food. Then you put it in a bowl. Okay, I already put probably about 3 or 4 tablespoons of cooking oil in here. Now, this is a half a stick of butter. This is going to give it some flavor. And this is what I'm going to caramelize my onions in. And what I'm going to saute all my vegetables in. Okay, I'm going to start caramelizing my onions. The potatoes are cooking. Gotta let that cook down, let it caramelize before you put your bell pepper. The next thing that's gonna go in is your garlic. And now I'm gonna go ahead and start on opening this because I clean my salmon. There's some people that just leave bones in and everything because the bones you can chew them and there's nothing wrong with them, but I'm really picky about my food, so I literally skin it, take the bones out. And this costs like $3.50 a can. You gotta drain the water out of each can. So you see how see that skin? Some people just leave that in there, but I don't. But if you want to, go ahead. Now you see you got your little bones in here, which is literally, you can chew them, they're just real soft. I usually take maybe not all of it, but most of the black stuff off. I'll take them all out. I'm sure I'm gonna have people watching me say, just leave it in there. If you do leave bones in it, you don't have to worry about choking on them. Believe me. Now,
Put it in a bowl.
put it in a bowl. Potatoes are done, they're fork tender. So, you're going to want to let them drain. And while they are draining, you come over here. Your onions are about as brown as I want them. And you're going to want to put your garlic in. That's the next thing you put in. Now with this, what I do, I let my garlic cook until they get a little toasty. You don't ever let the garlic burn, because if you do let it burn, it's going to make everything taste terrible. Okay. You mash your potatoes up. Okay, this dish is not something you can cook fast, but it's a dish that you can use maybe for a special occasion. You got some people coming over and you want to impress them. This is what you cook. I mean, you can't go wrong cooking this. It's just delicious. Cutting up your green onions, and this is going to go in very last. Now, you can put in your peppers, your jalapeno peppers, and your regular peppers. Then you're going to let that cook down some till the peppers get soft. That's all you got to do with the bell peppers and the jalapenos. Just let that cook down. Now, you're going to do your shrimp, which is, I pre-cooked them. If you really like shrimp, you can use more shrimp. If you like salmon, you can use more salmon. You can put mushrooms in here. I mean, there's a lot of things, a lot of extra things you can put in it, but some of my family doesn't care for mushrooms and others do, so I just leave them out. And crab meat takes it over the top. Oh, that's the best. I don't have it because it's January, and the crab meat that they have is either shipped or sent over. It's just not good crab meat. I've done tried it. The best time to get your crab meat is in the summer months. Okay, I got the shrimp chopped up. You want to put that in a bowl also. There's so many steps to this, but you just follow it step by step, and you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. You're gonna need some eggs. I'm gonna put 3 in here. Now, your vegetables are done. They're caramelized and softened. So you put them in with your potatoes. Okay. Now you stir this up. Now, in order for my eggs not to cook in there, I'm going to have to let this cool off a little bit. Before I do that, I'm going to put a little bit more salt in it. Now, the potatoes were salted, so you don't have to put that much more salt. I'm going to say about 2 teaspoons. And one thing I want to put a little accent in there too.
Somebody asked, what was the accent?
Accent is called monosodium glutamate, and it is something that you put in your food, and it just enhances the flavor of it. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'm going to put about 2 teaspoons of accent.
Is it salty? What's it?
It's not really salty. It's just it's hard to say what it tastes like. 1.5 teaspoons of black pepper, about 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, about 1 teaspoon of onion powder, cayenne pepper. It has jalapenos in it, so I'm just gonna put about 1/2 teaspoon, maybe a little bit more of that. You mix all those spices in there. Before I start cooling down these potatoes, I'm gonna go ahead and mix in the salmon, and I'm gonna mix in the shrimp, because this will help it too. You kind of fold it in. I'm gonna go ahead and put my green onions in right now, and that just kicks it up a notch on the flavor. This is gonna be so good. Okay, you're gonna have to let this cool down, because if you don't, you will have scrambled eggs in here. So I put it in my freezer for a little bit, get it good, everything all incorporated in there, and then you put it in the freezer probably for about 30 minutes. I emptied it just for that, because you don't want to put something hot in there with meat that you're trying to freeze.
Unless you have 5 other freezers.
Yeah, which I do. Okay, now I normally put a few little breadcrumbs in there, maybe 1/4 of a cup, and this is your eggs. And you're going to put them in there. Stirring it by hand keeps you from breaking your salmon patties up, so you can have some pieces when you take a bite. You don't want to put it in a mixer. I already put my grease in here, about 1/4 inch, 1/4 of an inch. Okay, this doesn't need to cover your patty all the way. Just cover it maybe 1/4 of an inch on the bottom. And you have a plate of flour here, and you're going to want to saute it a little bit and put some pepper on it, and you can start making your patties. And I don't make my patties real thick, so it will cook the egg That's basically what it's got to cook, is that egg. You get it, good and round, and you put it in a pan. Get you another one. Like I said, you don't want to make it real thick. I'm going to say maybe a half an inch. See? About a half an inch. I always keep my hands washed. Okay, my grease is ready. So, you can just put flour on it and get most of the flour off of it. Kind of mold it as you go. Stick one in. You see how it's frying when you stick it in there? That's how hot it's got to be. They freeze really, really well. And then if you make them thin enough, you don't even have to thaw them out. You can even put them in the, you can bread them up frozen. Wash your hand. After it's stayed in there for a while, you don't want to mess with them too much. They're not going to stick. But the first one I put in, you want to lift it up a little bit. You see, that's not brown enough. To make sure it doesn't splatter, you might have to get some tools together. You see, this isn't quite dark enough to my liking. But the ones in the middle, yeah, they are. See, golden brown. If you don't make sure that you have eggs incorporated in it, it would literally fall apart in your pan. So that's why you need your eggs. Okay? These are brown enough, so I'm going to take them out. You can put them on paper towel. Now we're going to give this a taste. You can eat it with ketchup or torta sauce or any kind of sauce that you prefer. It's good. Potatoes with this, it's just a combination. Good combination. Delicious. I like ketchup with mine, but I like it plain too. Delicious. I want to thank you guys for watching. I thank you for the views I've already had, for subscribing, and I just want to tell you how much I appreciate y'all watching. Next time we're going to have a chicken and butter bean stew, which is something my mom used to always cook when I was a little girl. And if you're interested, look me up. From MeMaw's kitchen to your kitchen, I'll see you the next time. Well, I thought you had me off.
It's good.
Oh yeah. It's good.
It is good.
It took long enough.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. It's even seasoned good.
Yeah.
Because I'm just guessing